Hello, everyone. Now I will show you how to set up your Belkin router. And before I start, I want to remind you that if my video will help you, please support my work. Half of all donations I send to animal shelters. All details are in the description down below. The first step is turning on the router. Plug the power adapter into the router. Connect one end to an outlet and the other end to the router. When the router powers on, the indicator will illuminate. It may take a few minutes for it to completely turn on. The next step is to connect the cable from your internet service provider or from your modem to the internet port. This port is often marked as internet and typically has a different color. Each cable should be inserted until it clicks. Now you need to reset the router to its original factory settings. Hold down the reset button on the router for 10 seconds. Wait for the router's indicator lights to start flashing. Occasionally, this button can be found inside the router casing to avoid accidental presses. In this case, use a thin object to press it down. The router will reboot, and all the settings will return to their factory defaults. Plug one end of the Ethernet cable from the router into a LAN port. The other end into the Ethernet card of your computer or laptop. Wait a few minutes for connection. Great, the router is connected to your computer. Now you need to set it up. But first, if you don't have an Ethernet cable or your computer doesn't have an Ethernet port, I'll show you another way to connect the router. All you need to do is connect the router with the power adapter and the cable from your internet provider. This will enable Wi-Fi. If your router is new, the name of your Wi-Fi network will be the same as the name of your router. Your router has its own Wi-Fi network name and password that is printed on a label. Connect to it. Great, you've connected to the router. Now let's start setting it up. First, open your web browser and visit the URL you see on the screen. Use the URL bar instead of the search bar. At the very beginning, you will see a form to enter the password. Usually, it is admin or leave the field empty. If these credentials are wrong, then find label on your router. The credentials are often printed on the bottom of the device. If none of this works, it means that your router has already been configured and someone has changed the login and password. If you can't find out the login credentials, just reset the router to factory settings. And then log into the router's personal cabinet using the standard credentials. If your router settings do not look like mine, it means that your router has a different firmware. I made a video for every firmware type. You can find all the links in the description down below. I want to warn you right away that there are many firmware versions and they may differ slightly. But don't worry, you will succeed. Just watch the video and follow the instructions. So, first you need to read and accept the license terms for using this software. To do this, check the box right here. And then click the next button. On the next page, you need to enter the name and password for your Wi-Fi network. In the first field, enter the name, and in the second field, the password. Do the same for the 5 GHz network. and then click the Next button. On the next page, you need to set a password for the router's admin panel, and then click the Next button. On the next page, you will see all the information you entered earlier. To save the settings, click the Save button. If you were connected to the router via Wi-Fi, reconnect to the network using the new settings. Next, you can connect another node. I will skip this step, so I'll click this button. Here you can register your router. Click the Skip button. Next, the router will check for a new firmware version. If a new firmware is available, I recommend updating it to the latest version. After updating the firmware, click the Done button. Now restart the router. To do this, log in to the router's admin panel using your new password. Go to the Configuration menu. Open Administration. Go to the Device Reset section and click the Restart button. Wait a couple of minutes for the router to fully reboot. Now check if the internet is working. Just try Googling something. If there's no internet connection, you need to try cloning your MAC address. To do this, log in to the router's admin panel again. Go to the Configuration menu. Open MAC address clone. Check the box right here, and then click this button. Save the settings and restart the router again. Wait a couple of minutes for the router to fully reboot. Now check if the internet is working. Just try Googling something. If the internet still doesn't work, at this point you need to call your internet provider. They will tell you exactly what type of connection you need and what additional parameters to set. That's all. If my video was useful, please support my work. I send half of all donations to animal shelters. All the details are in the description below.